You only need to know me. I will be the one.
Chapter 1094 changes everything for the story going forward. This video is going to focus largely on the events surrounding Saturn and his seemingly demonic devil fruit, the mythology surrounding its potential inspiration, even though its official name has yet to be revealed, and what it means for the broader story in terms of power systems we have yet to consider. But first, a theory I dropped on this channel a while back has been confirmed. The One Piece world is run by a satanic cult of devil worshippers, with Imu being the devil, or maybe Sea Devil. Well, not all of that has been confirmed actually, but we are getting there. And you can check out my One Piece Devil playlist on the screen here if you want to binge some videos that explain why the reveal of Saturn's satanic devil fruit is so important. The devil in the pentagram sigil of Baphomet, tying into One Piece in several important ways. I'll try and remember to link it in the comment section below, but if I don't, just remind me with a comment of your own. Anyways, I now realize that this sigil of Baphomet has appeared in a few places already in Oda's story, prior to chapter 1094. This summoning seal was shown on a manga volume cover for volume 20 of One Piece during Alabasta, showcasing Luffy and other characters standing around a star-shaped pentagram with a creature being summoned in the middle. This creature is the duck companion that accompanies Vivi. We see the same thing in terms of the volume cover after Kaido and Big Mom fall, that reveals the new emperors who are surrounding another creature, a rabbit that is the mink carrot in the middle, another hint at a beast being summoned. And this aligns with the volume cover that foreshadowed these new 4 emperors, the one that has Luffy, Blackbeard, Shanks, and Buggy surrounding a goat in the middle. If you overlap the pentagram over these images, these volume covers, you will see what I mean. Also notice another connection between these volume covers. Luffy is a god connected to the sun god. Okay, going in reverse order. If you consider the mink carrot is tied to the moon, which might have some connection to Imu and the celestial dragons given the reveal of the holy knight Saint Vigeland Garling. If you consider the duck in the middle, that hints at Vivi. We know that Imu has an interest in Vivi. And if you consider the goat in the middle of the other cover, that goat is tied to Satan worship, the satanic sigil of Baphomet, and the devil. So maybe these volume covers that have been set up similar to a pentagram, all hint at Imu Narona in some way. The demonic pentagram of the Gorosei Saturn, inspired by the sigil of Baphomet, is the official insignia of the Church of Satan. The Church of Satan describes the symbol as the preeminent symbol of the philosophy of Satanism. The original goat pentagram containing the Hebrew letters at the 5 points of the pentagram spell out Leviathan, the ancient serpent from the biblical text. Leviathan is a sea serpent that has been associated with the devil. In other videos on this channel, we have tied the sea serpent, Leviathan, to the sea devil, and from there to Imu. The sea serpent, Leviathan, has been compared to other dragon and world serpent narratives such as the world serpent Jormungandr, who wrapped around the world, just like the red line. Supposedly in the Hebrew Bible, Leviathan is the term for, or a metaphor for, a powerful enemy, a final boss, so to speak. The word later came to be used as a term for sea monsters in general, and so, we'll get back to Saturn shortly, but Imu is the king above the Gorosei, no different than the devil ruling over his demons in hell, which is what Sabo calls the empty throne room of Merjawa. Not a holy land, not heaven, but a place resembling hell when the Gorosei first enter their demonic transformations. Is it not interesting then that Oda might have foreshadowed this with Doflamingo's nickname, the Heavenly Demon? Doflamingo relying on the power of the devil to secretly pull the strings of the world from the underworld as an underworld broker. No different than an actual devil, Imu, pulling the strings of the world from hell. Imu, a heavenly demon, sitting on the empty throne in the Holy Land. Leviathan is supposed to represent Satan in the Bible. Satan, which is also known as the devil and the great serpent, a term that ties into Elbath and the giants mentioning the great serpent they have never been able to defeat. I could go into more detail, it's just better for you all to check out that playlist I said I link in the comments section below. But essentially, the One Piece world is run by a satanic cult that worships the devil king of the world, Imu, who has stolen the seat of the former king, possibly. A commentary then from Ichiro Oda about what if the devil didn't actually lose? What if the devil defeated God instead? Dark, I know. Now I want you guys to consider this. If you have watched it on Netflix, then you'll get the reference, and if you haven't, I strongly recommend watching it this weekend or in the coming days, whenever this video drops. It's alright, it's nothing special, but I really liked the underlying plot and wish they had put more into what was possible. There is a movie on Netflix called The Pope's Exorcist, which is apparently inspired by real events, or at least inspired by the actual files of a priest, Father Gabriel Amorth, a real-life exorcist, the chief exorcist of the Vatican, played by the actor Russell Crowe. The Pope's Exorcist follows Father Gabriel as he investigates a young boy's terrifying possession and ends up uncovering a centuries-old conspiracy that the Vatican has desperately tried to keep hidden. Before explaining this further, the Holy Land of Marijoa and Pangaea Castle has been compared to the Vatican. The designs are pretty much similar, as you can see from this image on the screen. There's been a belief that the Holy Land of Marijoa, the five elders, and Imu are hiding things from the people of the One Piece world, just like there are hidden secrets in the Vatican, especially in the Vatican Library, in which lies the Vatican secret archives, supposedly. Of course, we now know that the five elders were hiding Imu from the world, the existence of a king sitting on the throne, one ruler of the world that should not exist. Just as the Vatican has secret archives, the Holy Land appears to have a secret underground archive as well, where we see various tomb-like structures and that giant straw hat. And given the Christianity and Satanism comparisons we're making here, the straw hat might even be thought of as the crown of Jesus, Joy Boy being Jesus, and the return of Joy Boy being the resurrection of Christ. Taking the connection to the Vatican further, it's possible that Imu-sama, the Great Imu, as the Gorosei call him, is based on the Pope. If Imu's name is translated to Buddha or High Priest, as the Pope is said to have great power and authority, influence over world affairs, shaping policy across countries on a global scale. So going back to the Netflix movie The Pope's Exorcist, which again is apparently inspired by real events, or at least inspired by the actual files of a priest and real-life exorcist, Father Gabriel Amorth, the chief exorcist of the Vatican. This movie deals with demonic possession and the uncovering of a centuries-old conspiracy the Vatican has desperately tried to keep hidden away. Also, something funny I just wanted to mention about Father Gabriel is he is said to have believed that the book Harry Potter and the practice of yoga are evil. Anyways, you should know that an exorcist is engaged then in the banning or erasure of evil. Evil, just as each Gorosei serves as a high priest under Imu and speaks of a need for a great cleansing of evil as well as a light to be erased. The Gorosei exorcise and erase people and knowledge from history all the time. And now, after deploying the Mother Flame on Leluzia Kingdom at the behest of Imu, the demonic priest Saturn is here to erase Vegapunk and exorcise anyone else that gets in his way. Now I'm going to spoil you guys, but again the movie is kind of mid, nothing special. It's just the conspiracy that is mind-blowing, a conspiracy whose potential was wasted on this show in my opinion. So just like the Gorosei and Imu erasing people in history, the Pope's Exorcist movie mentions a fictional plotline about the Spanish Inquisition, a major historical event where the Spanish Inquisition was a judicial institution that lasted between 1478 and 1834. Its stated purpose on paper was to combat heresy in Spain, those that went against the word of God. But in practice, the Spanish Inquisition resulted in consolidating power in the monarchy of the newly unified Spanish kingdom. Its brutal methods led to widespread death and suffering, no different than consolidating power in the king of the world Imu, who supposedly does not exist, under the pretext of combating heresy or erasing forbidden knowledge that supposedly would threaten the world and repeat some disastrous event in the past. All the while Imu and the Gorosei are now causing chaos around the world, as we see from the aftermath of the destruction of Luzia Kingdom, the rising tides that might cause another flood, if a flood happened in the past. Just like the Spanish Inquisition causing widespread death and suffering. As per the Pope's Exorcist, this film's version of the events, the Spanish Inquisition was said to have been driven by a master exorcist that had been secretly possessed by a demon serving the devil Satan. A demon by the name of Asmodeus, who wanted to give a bad name to God and the church. This idea that the devil or a demon was behind the Spanish Inquisition and the opposition to free thinkers and free speech does not align well with most historians, but Father Gabriel's own opinions do shape this part of the movie, in which the demon Asmodeus is focused on infiltrating the Vatican and corrupting the Vatican's leadership by possessing a high priest. I would add that there are some in the One Piece community that jokingly belong to King of Lightning's Church of Katakuri. Leave a comment below if you know what I'm talking about. But in the world of One Piece itself, there just might be a Church of Imu, the Great Imu, the devil, and so a Church of Satan as mentioned, Satanism, where the world government flag even resembles a cross that the heretic Luffy burns during Enies lobby, declaring war on the Church of Satan, the world government in Imu, God, or in this case, the devil. So the point I'm getting at is the real Father Gabriel Amorth has even gone on record to claim that the Vatican was indeed infiltrated by the devil, and those in power today, particularly in the Vatican, have supposedly been corrupted by Satan, whether they know it or not. Now before you start asking what is wrong with this guy, Vinland or Ragnar's lost his mind, this is not my personal conspiracy. I'm just a One Piece journalist, a One Piece scholar bringing you information that ties into Eiichiro Oda's story. If this is too much for you, I suggest taking it up with Oda and this guy called Father Gabriel, who died at the age of 91 and took the remainder of his secrets to the grave. But Satanism, demonic possession, devil worship, the devil infiltrating the Vatican, the Holy Land. There's another point about Imu I want to make, but let's go back to Saturn first. So St. J. Garcia, Saturn, summons a pentagram. It's referred to as a magic circle by the Marines, which has some believing Oda is introducing magic suddenly into the storyline. But in a way, magic has always existed because it's simply what people call unexplained phenomena. I believe even during Wano, devil fruit powers were called magic or sorcery. This satanic pentagram is shaped like a star. The Gorosei are the 5 elder stars, and we can also see it as 5 points of the star. 5 points, and so 5 elder planets that revolve around the sun. A common point of origin. Originally Joy Boy or the sun god Nika, but now 5 demonic or corrupted planets that revolve around the king of the world, Imu. It's worth wondering if all the Gorosei can use this satanic summoning and teleport themselves anywhere from the world, even from atop the red line. It's also worth pointing out that we see similar pentagrams on the walls of the Gorosei chambers. Strange pentagram symbols that are close in resemblance to the pentagram used on Namakura Island, a place containing a Satan-worshipping tribe that used this satanic pentagram to attempt to summon a demon or the devil Satan. Notice that the damaged Vega tank even has the word Satan spelled out on it, though this could just be fading on the page scans, but the letter G is blurred to look like an S, followed by an A-T-A-N for Satan. But it's curious that it is Kuma that sent Brook here to Namakura Island. Oda chooses to drop Brook right in the middle of the summoning circle, which leads to a few questions or connections. Bonnie attacks Saturn after recollecting the memories of Kuma's past. How Kuma had been branded in a similar, albeit different way, different markings, compared to the hoof of the celestial dragon placed on the backs and chests of slaves. It appears that Saturn is somehow connected to the mental enslavement of Kuma, erasing Kuma's memories and individuality, stripping Kuma of consciousness and free will, just like the devil is said to want to do to humankind, denying us the freedom that God gave us, the opposite intention of Joy Boy. Tying in Saturn's pentagram to the one on Namakura Island, what we see is the summoning of the Soul King Brook by the devil worshippers, so summoning the soul of a demon or devil king. Kuma can transport people or things with his devil fruit power, so somehow or maybe the satanic pentagram was used to transport or summon the soul of a devil to give Saturn power instead of using an actual devil fruit, maybe. Another means of using the power of a devil fruit without having to actually eat one. Did the Gorosei eat devil fruits that gave them demonic powers or maybe forbidden devil fruits? Or do they use these satanic summoning rituals, these satanic pentagrams, to open a gateway between worlds and summon the awakened, and so the real form of a Zoan devil fruit, given that these Zoans are said to have wills of their own, free will? And upon using the ritual, does the devil or demon take control, thus the immediate awakened form? As a parallel to Kuma losing his individuality, did the Gorosei and Imu experience the same? Did they lose themselves in a sort of Faustian deal with the devil, exchanging their free will for the devil's power? In chapter 385, the Cypherpole agent Jabra told us that there is an actual devil or demon residing inside of him. Notably, Jabra ate a Zoan devil fruit, so who knows if it's the same or if the same is true about Logia or Paramecia. When the demonic version of Saturn appears from the pentagram, we see that he is marked with a strange set of swirl patterns on his legs that are typically depicted with devil fruit abilities, as well as seen on the artificial Zoans of the Beast Pirates during Wano. And when we are presented Jabra's superstition about devils jumping out at you, fighting with another devil or person's soul in this case, causing them to explode. And again we see the same swirl patterns typically depicted with devil fruit abilities. Spandam and Cypherpole go on to mention the kind of devil residing inside of their devil fruits, implying some devils are more powerful than others, that not every devil fruit contains the same kind of demon. Some demons are stronger. Thus, the ominous sensation from those on Egghead Island that sensed Saturn's transformation. There is then a mention of these devil fruit powers coming from another world, a sort of gravity emanating from them that is sucking you into that world. Perhaps a connection to Vegapunk saying, devil fruit users exist on another plane, inheriting the power of devils from another dimension, devils born from dreams, devils that answer your dreams, kind of like the Shinigami from Death Note, since devil fruits are said to be born from our desires and our dreams, the wishes that we make to the devil, perhaps. Mind you, the same chapter where we see the Gorosei transform into demons for the first time is when we get to see Jabra and Khalifa again. This isn't a coincidence. Oda drawing a clear connection between the past and the present discourse on devils residing in devil fruits. But being possessed by your devil fruit, losing your identity and free will, we see Saturn mention how long it's been since he's returned to the world's surface. And he also mentions the name of Luffy's mythical Zoan, the name Nika, as if in his current form he had a personal relationship with Nika, on a sort of first-name basis since the Void Century, maybe. But Saturn mentioning how long it's been since he's returned to the world's surface, there are a few ways to interpret this. Ichiro Oda might be implying that somebody else is now there in Saturn's body after the satanic summoning, the will of the awakened devil, a devil awakened from its slumber, so to speak. Just like Kaido asking Luffy after he entered Gear 5 who exactly he was. Kaido sensing another presence beyond Luffy's own, perhaps Joy Boy's or the sun god Nika's. It seems that Saint J. Garcia Saturn, upon awakening his demonic devil fruit, has actually become somebody else. Or it could be that Saturn, prior to awakening, was inside his boat, or government ship, and is only now stepping on the land below the red line in such a long time. Maybe that's what Saturn really means. Or maybe Saturn has always been possessed by his devil, as Saturn refers to human beings as nothing more than insects, as if Saturn himself is not human, or not human anymore. Saturn does not see himself as a human being. No wonder the Gorosei are aware that some devil fruits have a will of their own, as they explain to us from Pangea Castle as Luffy awakened the sun god Nika for the return of Joy Boy. A will that has maybe possessed the Gorosei and shaped the very world around us. The will of the devil. So back to demonic possession in that Vatican movie I mentioned that ties into Imu Narona and the devil sitting on the empty throne. There is a theory in the community about what might have happened to Nefertari D. Lily, and why Imu Narona desires Nefertari D. Vivi. Some people think Lily was possessed and is actually Imu. I'm not sure about this, but let's entertain it. A demon or mythical Zoan devil fruit with a will of its own taking control of Lily, removing Lily's free will and consciousness and replacing it with that of Imu, who even refers to himself in the third person as Mu, as if other beings or another being is there. Now, I'm not a historian or religious scholar, but apparently there is much more to the Adam and Eve story than meets the eye. Adam's first wife was named Lilith, which sounds a lot like Lily. Lilith is said to have a connection to snakes, which reminds me of Amazon Lily, and the snakes that define that island. Many people believe Lilith is the serpent which convinced Eve to take a bite of the apple. Since then, Lilith has often shown herself by shape-shifting into a snake, it is said. And the devil Satan is also said to be this snake that tempted Eve. So it is a sort of overlapping of the same role in mythology. Lilith or Nefertari D. Lily becoming the devil, becoming Imu. Now, do I believe this is what Oda has done? Not necessarily. For all we know, Lily disappeared for an entirely different reason, or given Imu's animosity towards her as displayed before Cobra. Lily might have been killed by Imu, not possessed. But the idea that Imu and the Gorosei are possessed, that the very devils of these devil fruits are in fact ruling the world, is one idea that is appealing to me. To end the video, and going back to what Jabra said about devils of devil fruits jumping out at you, attacking your soul and causing you to explode, we see that the Marines are ordered to not look at Saturn if their level is too low. Will this be the case if Saturn had not transformed? Who knows? But upon seeing Saturn's demonic, awakened devil fruit transformation, the head of one of the Marines explodes. We see a glow in Saturn's eye, as if something invisible had lunged out of him to attack the Marine and cause this head explosion. A devil, maybe. Either way, what happens to the Marine, the explosion of his head after the summoning of this devil, how nobody under a certain level is supposed to gaze upon Saturn. However this happened, it reminds me of what was said when King Cobra visited the empty throne room and saw Imu. Prior to that, the royal guards are roaming around, discussing how there is a shortage of guards. It appears some of the guards went missing because they saw what they call it. It as in the legendary Phantom Room, and that you can blame you-know-what for that. Oda is being very cryptic here. But in the Phantom Room or Lost Chamber, we know that is where Imu tends to reside. And thereafter, the Gorosei are shocked when Imu reveals himself to King Cobra. The Gorosei exclaiming with concern, "Great Imu, King Cobra is still present." As if the Gorosei know the consequence of Imu revealing himself to anyone other than them is certain death. Erasure, just like the disappearance of those royal guards. Just like that Marine's head exploding after seeing Saturn's true form. And even one of the Gorosei confirms this, telling King Cobra that his fate was sealed. His death assured the moment he laid eyes on the great Imu. No one can know about the world's greatest taboo, that there is a ruler in the shadows. As crazy as that makes me sound saying it, this is Oda's story and what he is implying. Sabo even compares the Holy Land to hell. Demonic or satanic leaders are pulling the strings of this world at the behest of one king to rule them all. Imu Narona, possibly the devil, who, if immortal, has secretly ruled the holiest place in the world for hundreds of years. But as usual, we will have to wait and see. Don't forget to like the video, comment with your thoughts below, and subscribe. You can also find me on Twitter at the following address @VinlandRagnar. My Twitter page is on the screen. If you want to discuss stuff there, One Piece or otherwise, I always make sure to respond or interact in one way or another. Also check out my spoiler channel called Vinland, where I'll be covering the One Piece spoilers as well as turning your comments into videos. I already started doing that the past few days and have uploaded 2 new videos already that you probably haven't seen yet. And check out the One Piece news channel D News, where I'll be covering news in the One Piece community. Again, links will be in the description box and pinned in the comment section below. As always, there's more to come. Until next time.